Hi, everyone. This is Gary Berman, host of the Cyber Hero Adventure Show. We have a special micro briefing today where we're going to listen and learn from some amazing thought leaders regarding a very, very important trend of virtual CISOs. This is a topic that is top of mind for many people, especially for the small and medium business market. So, to join us to talk about that, I'd like to welcome to the show David Premor. Hi, David. How you doing?
Hi, Gary. Nice to meet you and pleasure to be here.
It's so nice to meet you and see you as well. And I have to begin by asking about your cool logo on your shirt and how you came up with the name Cynomi.
Great. So you could see the name Cynomi, you see the manta ray, and it's two different stories. So as the manta ray, I really like the Walt Disney films, and I get inspiration from Finding Nemo. And there was a teacher, manta ray, that teaches all the fish in the ocean, small fish, how to protect themselves against the sharks and how to find food. And when we thought about establishing Cynomi, the whole idea was to help small and medium businesses how to understand cyber threats, how to better protect themselves. Then we moved to MSPs and MSSPs, and this is the same agenda to help them, to help the customers. So we see the manta ray as a symbol for education, for help the weakest link, maybe yeah, in this world.
That's just terrific. And I knew I would like you because Finding Nemo, of course, is one of our favorite, movies from when I had two daughters. And you can
Mhm.
see behind me that we do superhero comics, and our audience knows that, about us. So there's nothing fishy about our conversation.
Yeah, fishy.
And I promise you, I will not try to be funny anymore. Don't worry.
We could talk about fishing.
Well, we can talk about fishing, like spearfishing. One of the characters, behind me, her name is Phoebe the Fisher, and
Mm.
she has a harpoon for whale fishing. She has a spear for spearfishing, and she has a fishing rod for spray and pray. Um, but just so you know, we would never try to catch Nemo.
Yeah.
So our audience would be very, very interested about your origin story. How did you come to this moment in your career?
Yeah, so I've been many years in the cyber and cybersecurity area. I'm Lieutenant Colonel from A200 unit, so being there for more than 15 years, doing some stuff I cannot talk about, but surely it was exciting and lots of understanding about cyber. Then I had the privilege to establish the Cybersecurity Authority in Israel, heading the technical session, building the national cert, incident response from national perspective. And during this period, I understood both what the attackers are doing and both what the protectors are trying to do, understanding the complexity and having efficient or enough technological background in order to try to help this world to be better protected. I didn't mention that I'm an electrical engineer by my profession, also having a PhD. I did it at CERN in Geneva for the big particle accelerator, trying to find the Higgs boson, which we finally found. I always try to find something new to go to find some adventures and to help small and medium businesses and small enterprise in this very difficult journey for me is a great goal. And with Cynomi, I think that we are starting to achieve that.
The smaller business, medium business market in the United States and around the world, I have always felt tremendous compassion for them because, in some respects, they're kind of like sitting ducks, if I can use that expression, because they're unable to afford high level cybersecurity. They oftentimes think that they don't have anything of value that a criminal or a threat actor would be interested in, right? You've heard that.
Yeah, you are completely right, and this is I think the big problem because any company could be hurt from cyber attack, and the attackers are looking for the weakest link. So SMBs and mid-market companies, they always have something to lose. You could lose your business, you could lose your data, and the fact that they are not protecting themselves, they make the attackers using very maybe old techniques or very simple techniques. And for me, when I first started Cynomi, or maybe in initial thoughts about that, I said there are so many foolish things that could be done in order to prevent these cyber attacks. And
Right.
it's I was so sorry that these SMBs and mid-market companies they don't do that, and then they are exposed to cyber attacks. So only if I could teach them something basic and help them to build the strategy. It should not be so difficult. Actually, it's very difficult, but it not should be. So we should try to have more technology, more education, more podcasts like this in order to convince those companies that they should take cybersecurity in a more serious way.
Yeah, indeed. And given that you're an Israeli-based company, what is your geographic reach, for Cynomi at the moment? Are you working globally? Are you focusing on particular geographies at the moment?
Yeah, it's. I think it's typical to Israel companies. So we are Israeli company. We are also UK company, but most of our customers are based in the US. So 90% of our customers are from the US. We have also customers in the UK, and unfortunately, very few in Israel. So our main market in the US, and we feel that we can contribute for this large market significantly.
So the Cynomi platform is very, very innovative. We're going to be sharing with our audience in a few moments some of the results of a survey that caught my attention. It's why I reached out to you, and you're talking all about virtual CISOs and fractional CISO,
Yeah.
kind of time and things along those lines. What was the underpinning that motivated you to create this platform?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that working in the National Cybersecurity Authority and being there while the WannaCry attacked, I saw that the helplessness of many of SMBs and mid-market companies. What they needed is some good advices, create a strategy. So it's not enough to have tools like antivirus or the new names are KDR, XDR,
Yep.
everything they are, and there are so many tools and procedures that you should follow. You should prioritize it, and so many types of attacks. So there should be some kind of guidance, some kind of strategy that every company should follow. And I found out that this part is missing. So it's like when you build a house, you have to first understand what you should do, and not building one wall and then other wall, or if you want to build a protection, you build a fence, but only from the front and not from the rear. So understanding how to protect a company, I think this is something which is missing. And what we found out that most of the SMBs and mid-market companies getting help from somebody because they don't understand cybersecurity. Sometimes they don't understand IT. So they turn to MSPs, to MSSPs, to cyber consultancies, and they ask them, what should we do? And the answer is a CISO or a virtual CISO that understands the language of business and the language of technical tools and procedures that they should implement. And it's not easy for MSPs and MSSPs as well, because there are so many companies. There are not enough CISO or virtual CISO in the world. There's not enough knowledge. And Cynomi trying to fill this gap to help MSPs, MSSPs, cyber consultancies to be able to provide these strategic consultancies, what we call virtual CISO, to help them to build the cybersecurity program, to build the compliance plan, to prioritize the tasks, and to have a much better protection. And if they need, to help them with the incident response, but we all wish not to get to this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just for our audience to clarify, how do you differentiate with a managed service provider versus a managed service security provider, MSSPs? What is the distinction in your experience?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because we see that the difference is not always it can be seen. But MSPs are usually more traditional entities that offered managed IT. So it's not necessarily cybersecurity. It could be manage your network, your endpoints, your storage. And since cybersecurity became very important, essential, we see new entities, the MSSPs, managed security service providers, come to help with cybersecurity. However, MSPs also understand that cybersecurity is part of the game, so they add some more cybersecurity services. So I can see MSPs without cybersecurity services, which I would say the MSPs with non-mature cybersecurity services. I see MSPs with very mature with cybersecurity services, so there are some kind of MSPs and MSSPs all together. Big MSPs are usually like that, and MSSPs are companies that provide mostly cybersecurity stuff and not providing everything about IT.
Well, thank you for that clarification. It is something that a lot of times there's some confusion or lack of clarity about it. So you did a good job on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So speaking of communications, I want to invite to the show Rotem Shemesh. Hi, Rotem. How are you? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Sorry, I said good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's nice to see you. You and I spoke recently about the research that caught my attention and some of the cool things that you're doing. And I know our audience is going to be very interested to listen and learn more about that. But before we do that, tell us your origin story. How did you come to this moment, and why do you like David?
Because I'm nice.
He is nice. Yeah, so basically I actually used to work for Datto, which is a company that deals with MSPs. It's kind of one of the leaders in the MSP space in terms of software for MSPs. And I used to deal with cybersecurity over there, and that's how I kind of came across this MSP world and loved it and saw the huge potential in it. And then about a year ago, when I met Didi, or David, sorry, in Hebrew we call him Didi. That's his nickname.
Wait. Hold time out. Is in journalism, this is called a scoop. So we have a scoop. His name is Didi.
Thank you, Rotem.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, in Hebrew, my original name is David, or David in Hebrew. Everybody called me Didi in Israel, but when I worked at CERN for this big particle accelerator, Didi seems to me like a girl name. So I called myself David, also with my email, and then everybody abroad called me David. So it was natural for me to, when I speak English with somebody, what's your name, David? So I know that from for people from the US, from the UK, I'm David. From people from Israel, I'm Didi. And sometimes people from the US call me Didi, and the opposite.
Well, what should I call you, just so I know?
David.
You are. No, I wanted to say that you are already my friend, so Didi is fine as well.
Toda rabbi. Thank you very much. But you just said something very quickly. You work at Particle Accelerator. Was that at CERN?
Yeah. I did my PhD there.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I'm a huge fan of Einstein, and so maybe some other time, we can talk about that or do a show, about what they're doing. But let's get back to you, Rotem. So you find yourself now with Didi, and you seem to be having a lot of fun so far. What has your experience been like in talking about Cynomi to MSPs and MSSPs? How's it going?
Yeah, so I must say that I might not be, objective, but it works even better than I imagined. I joined Cynomi because I felt and knew that cybersecurity for MSPs is something that is gaining traction. But to be honest, I didn't realize to what extent it is happening. And I think that one of the things that I was surprised when I first got the results of this survey that I'll share with you soon, was to what extent it's growing and the demand for virtual CISO services and how I knew that MSPs and MSSPs are growing in this direction, but I didn't realize that it's so huge and so fast.
Indeed. So let's dive into some of the research here. I liked just the title, the state of the virtual CISA report. I have not come across any research that is this focused. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you're totally right, because it's a relatively new term. And as we can see, if you just continue with the research, you'll see that about 2 years ago, it was really like the virtual CISO concept was very new. Not many MSPs and MSSPs even knew about it, let alone providing these services. And we see that it really gains traction. It was actually growing in the past couple of years and expected to keep growing at a phenomenal pace. With right now we have about 19% of MSPs and MSSPs that are relatively security focused, like the more security mature ones, that say that they provide these services, these vCISO services. So 19% today, but the ones that do not provide these services, most of them say that they are planning to add these services to their stack by the end of next year. So we're going to,
forgive the interruption. We're going to show some graphs in a moment about these important points. But given that our audience, is into algorithms and statistics and mathematics, can you tell us a little bit about the methodology so they understand?
Yeah, sure. So we engage with a third-party survey company, so it will be, objective. And they conducted a survey among 200 IT leaders from MSPs and MSSPs the US and Canada, so North America. And they basically did an online survey with them, asking about their strategic focus for the coming month, about their the services they currently provide in terms of strategic cybersecurity services. And then we figured out that about 19% of them actually already provide virtual CISO services. And we also revealed that many of them provide other services that are not virtual CISO services per se, but they are kind of strategic cybersecurity services. So they might be components of the virtual CISO services, etc. And we also found out the intent of some of them to go in this direction in the coming year or so. Which is super interesting.
For sure. So Didi, let me ask you just about this very first, finding. When you saw this first finding, this chart, was it surprising to you, or is it why you decided to create the company?
It was not a surprise, not because we see it actually happen in the market. So we see a lot of MSPs, MSSPs want to provide the services or want to scale their services. We talked with Gartner about a year ago, and they told us different or similar statistics, which is similar to which fit for 2022. So we had the impression, and they talked about a growth from 2% to 20%. And we thought, wow, it's amazing. It must be a trend. And we saw it in the market. And then 2023 came, and we said, we must check it because we have the instinct that it is true. And we see it also in the field and also in let's say in the theory.
Yeah. So here's another finding that amplifies or supports what you're saying. What can you tell us about that, Rotem?
Yeah, sure. So as we can see here, you see 2021 and before, then 2022, then 2023, and you can see that the number or the percentage of companies that are offering virtual CISO services is constantly growing, and there is gonna be a huge jump in that growth by the end of next year. So by the end of 2024, according to the survey and according to what MSPs and MSSPs say, we're going to have 86%, while right now we're at 19%. So that's a dramatic growth. And even the ones that say, yeah, we're not planning to do it in the coming 18 months, say we're going to do it somewhere in the future. So it looks like most MSPs and MSSPs go in this direction, and the ones that will not go this direction might kind of lag behind in a way.
Yeah, and you started to mention earlier a little bit about why, what are the benefits, and David, what can you share with us about this particular insight?
Yeah, so we see that there is two motivations here. The motivation of the companies themselves, the SMBs and mid-market, they suffer from more cyber attacks. They understand the threat. They have to face more and more regulations and more frameworks, privacy, others, and they found themselves struggling with cyber insurance. So many things that make them understand that they need some more protection. And they're willing to pay more for that. And they are looking for help. They're looking for MSPs and MSSPs that help them to achieve those goals. So this is one motivation. The other motivation is from the service providers themselves. So they are constantly looking for more services, more offering. They understand they need to be more cybersecurity focused. They want to differentiate themselves and to be better than the other service providers. And they understand that there is a big opportunity with this strategy and the increase of cyber threats and compliance need. So when you see those two vectors coming together, the market that want to get the services and service providers that want to provide it, we see this tremendous need and increase of virtual CISO services.
You know, in preparation for our conversation now, I just made some phone calls to, you know, friends and analysts in the industry. And what I can tell you is that they were very supportive of the survey findings and of the trends that you've established here, or at least the benchmark, you know, data set. And one person mentioned to me, he said, Gary, you know, you should try to franchise in the United States CISOs, because there are so many and there's so many individual CISOs, but it's very challenging because they're not scalable, because all they have is a certain amount of time, you know, in a day, and many of them don't have all the skills necessary to set up a successful consultancy. What do you think about that idea?
I think that the efficiency of the CISOs or virtual CISOs is very important, because when we talk with them, we see that maybe 20% of their time is talking with the customers, understand the problems, maybe create the strategy, and 80% is writing. And they are not technical writers. They are CISOs. They understand cybersecurity.
That's right.
So if we could reduce these hard work and help them to have a standardized processes, and to help them to have a very quick reports and not using spreadsheets anymore. I think that we could save them so much time, so they could double or triple or even more their capacity. So that's what we are trying to do, to automate those activities, which takes lots of time from these virtual CISOs. The second thing is that there are not enough virtual CISOs. There are some cybersecurity experts or IT experts. They know part of the job. So if you could have a platform like Cynomi that have a lot of knowledge within, and you could utilize it to compensate on the things that you don't know, and take advantage of the things that you do know, and put it together, you could create much powerful service. So and we are living in a world of knowledge consumption. So you take knowledge from ChatGPT. It's not enough only to take it. You must process it and to use it wisely. So if you take cybersecurity professional or IT professional, help them with the platform, I think you could get a much better service. And the idea of collecting those virtual CISO2 groups, I think it's a great idea. And I wish you, Gary, good luck with this idea. Maybe you could create a huge company.
Well, then stay on after we stop recording for a few minutes, and you know, this could be beshert. You never know, which means like coincidence. So as we're wrapping up, how does our audience get more information about the report and about your company?
Yes, so Rotem, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, just visit cynomi.com. The report is right at the top, so you definitely see it. and you can download it from there and see more data and information about Cynomi as well.
Indeed. Well, not only was this incredibly enjoyable for me, I have two new friends, and I'm really happy, about that as well. And on behalf of a grateful digital universe, thanks to David Pramer and Rotem Shemesh for who you are and for what you do, and most importantly, for why you do it. And to our audience, stay tuned for more from the Cyber Hero Adventures.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.